It's
Hello and welcome. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I am the founder of Holistic Fitness and Why. I'm your certified holistic personal trainer, holistic integrated teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. And if you are seeing this, that means you are probably reading an article that I have written. Today, I'd like to share with you a little bit about my astrological and numerology makeup and how it plays a huge role in my journey, and how your astrological and numerology makeup will make a huge role in your journey as well. So I'm going to dive in, and every once in a while, you're going to see me looking to the side because I am reading from a chart, as I want to be as detailed as I can for you so you can better understand how your astrological and numerology chart really does help you navigate through your everyday life. Now, a little backstory, which again, if you read my article, you know that my journey has started when I was 12 years old. Yes, 12 years old. At the ripe age of 12, I knew exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up, with the special invitation of being asked to teach a gymnastics class at that time. And with that, I knew I was called to be on this earth to support, hold space, teach, help, and transform women physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So let's dive in, shall we? My chart, as all charts have 12 houses, and every chart represents a specific something. So, very quickly, without confusing you, I'm going to run through the house placements, what they actually mean. So, the first house is all about your I am statement. Who are you and how you want to be seen in the world? Second house is all your relationships, including money and your physical body. Your third house is your communication and how you experience communication with self and others, including higher power. Your fourth house, I like to divide into three sections, which is your home, your career, and your physical body. Your fifth house plays a role of your creative space, your freedom, and being courageous enough to take in those unpredictable steps leading to where you have to go. Your sixth house is all about service and health. Seventh house is your agreements, all the agreements that you have agreed to fulfill in this lifetime, because everything has already been planned out for you even before you were born. The eighth house is about the darkness, your transformation, and also other people's money. Ninth house is your higher education. It's the source of traveling, and it's also the wisdom of God. 10th house is your soul's work. It's where the midheaven sits. Your 11th house is associated with your community, your tribe, and your connections. It's about your visionary or your visions. 12th house seeks all your secrets. It's where your dreams are, your imagination, even your fantasies. And when at a lower dense energy, it could also be about your addictions. So now that you know a little bit about your house placements, we're going to dive into my chart. Now I'm going to do my best to actually speak on every placement on my chart so you can better understand my story and how my chart literally, without even knowing it, has helped me navigate through many of the decisions, the experiences, the lessons, and many of the things I have created in my lifetime of being here on Earth. So we're going to dive right into the first house placement, which is known as, on my chart, it's in Cancer. Cancer is all about being the nurturer. It's the one that looks out for people and looks in on people, known as a mama bear. Being that it is my first house placement, it really is about how I want to show up as a nurturer, as the healer, as the person that does check in on other people. So I'm known to be very compassionate, kind, and because Cancer is a water sign, It's also about being very sensitive as well. Second house placement is in Leo. And I have in Leo in my second house, it's all about my Black Lilith, which is the protector, Black Lilith moon energy, and White Selena, which brings luck and joy into the table. And what that really means in the second house with Leo is that I am always protected based on any of the agreements that I go into, whether it's personal or professional. Moving into the third house placement, where I have where I have Virgo. Third house again is about the experience. I also have Pluto there. Now, in this particular case with Virgo and Pluto, it's a generational placement. So you may have this placement as well. May not be in the third house though. So we think about Virgo and Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation. Pluto is the planet of death. So things are falling apart for new things to come in. So in my third house placements is how I experience that transformation. And as I mentioned, Virgo is all about service and our health. So it makes a lot of sense to why I have chosen or agreed to be in the industry of health and fitness based on my experience and based on how I teach. So again, makes a lot of sense in regards to me being the teacher that I am holistically, integrating all forms of modalities into my practice. With that being said, moving into the fourth house, which again is home, it's career, it's my physical body. I have Uranus there. Uranus is known as chaos. And with it being in my fourth house in Libra, now Libra is about balance. It's also about the agreements that I have. So yes, there could very well be experiences that lead me into a state of chaos and a state of unpredictability, in a chaos of an opportunity of even being the rebel. For me to show up in a whole different way based on my fourth house Uranus energy. Remembering that Libra energy is all about my agreements that I'm here to fulfill. When we speak on Libra energy, it's also about the marriage. Now, I speak of marriage traditionally, when you marry someone, and hopefully you married yourself as well. And then all the habits, beliefs, and philosophies that we have been married into. Now, based on my energy of it being in Uranus, being the rebel, breaking all the rules, makes a lot of sense to why I do a lot of preaching on being in a non-conventional approach and bringing more revolutionizing health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness into my plan. So that fourth house, Uranus, Libra energy plays a big role to the work that I'm doing right now. Moving on to, again, we're going to stay in the fourth house placement because I also have Jupiter there, however, in Scorpio energy. Jupiter is known as the planet of spiritual growth. It's about luck and abundance, it's wealth, it's good fortune. And with it being in Scorpio, Scorpio is all about the transformation. So in the fourth house where I have Jupiter, things are expanding. My spiritual evolution is expanding. I am transforming through the work that I came here to do. Now, again, going back to the original story in my article, when I was 12 years old, I started out in the health and fitness industry, helping women to transform their physical body. Here I am at 55 years of age, and I am now helping women to transform not just their physical body, but their whole body. And remembering the name of my business is Holistic with a W, which represents the whole body, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So it's a total transformation that really comes from that fourth house in Jupiter sitting in Scorpio's energy. Now we're going to move on to the fifth house placement, where I do have Neptune sitting in Sagittarius. So a little bit about those three placements. Again, fifth house is about change, freedom, unpredictability, being creative, and expressing myself. It's also about being courageous enough to make these changes that I'm here to undergo and the agreements that I signed up to do. Now, when we speak about Neptune, Neptune is about the spiritual evolution. It's the higher wisdom. It's revolutionizing everything, which is exactly what it is that I do. Now, with it being in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is also about the higher learning. Sagittarius is about traveling between both worlds. And what I mean by that is here on Earth, and then when I sleep, whether it's during the nighttime sleep or taking a nap, I travel to the other side to gain insight, whether that insight is for me for the agreements that I'm here to fulfill, or gaining insight from loved ones that I know, and then, of course, loved ones for others where I bring back messages as well. Remember that fifth house is really about being creative and traveling. So that's the energy right there. Now, when we move into my sixth house placement, I don't have any planets sitting in my sixth house. Do keep in mind that sixth house is very much associated with Virgo, so it is about health and fitness and service. So it plays a big role in what it is that I do. I do have Capricorn sitting in my sixth house, a big portion of it. And Capricorn is all about your career, the work that you're here to do, working hard at doing it, being diligent enough and committed and disciplined to fulfilling what it is I came here to do, the success, the fame, the recognition. That's all in my sixth house placement. Then we move on to my seventh house. A very small portion of my seventh house sits in Aquarius, where my moon is. Now, again, seventh house is all about the agreements. It's about what am I here to fulfill? It's about the marriage. It's about quieting myself down, bringing more balance into my life. Moon energy is all about feeling your feels and expressing your feelings as well. Being that it is in Aquarius, it's the vision that I hold and my feelings about the vision that I hold. Now, I do want you to keep Aquarius and the moon energy in on the side because I'm going to come back to that at some point because that plays a significant role to a lot of what I do. So let's go. Let's move on. So again, we're going to continue talking about Aquarius because I also have Aquarius sitting in my eighth house energy where I have Mercury. And Mercury is the planet of communication. It's about what we're experiencing, what we're learning, how we're teaching, how we're listening, and what we're looking at as well. Now, when we speak about Mercury in the eighth house we already know is about the transformation, going to the dark side, and other people's money as well. So because it's in Aquarius, it really is about the vision that I do hold when working with other people and how the partnerships that I do have with other people because of that eighth house, other people money, and the transformation that I help my clients undergo in that process. So now we're going to move on to a little bit more about the eighth house, where I also have it in Pisces. And that means when the eighth house sits a little bit in Pisces, it's about bringing things into flow, helping clients like yourself to bring things into flow. So everything is balanced and moves a little bit more easily than things being rough. I want to talk a lot about my Pisces placement. It happens to be in my ninth house. And I happen to have what they call a stellium energy. Now, what is a stellium energy? A stellium energy is when you have multiple planets sitting in a house or zodiac sign. In this case, it's sitting in a house and a zodiac sign. So it's sitting in Pisces. Pisces is the last zodiac sign. Pisces carries the energy of all the other astrological signs. Pisces is known to be the most intuitive sign. We're sensitive, we're empathic, we're psychic, we're mystical, we're curious, we're always in our state of imagination and dreaming, and we're fantasizing all the time. Now, in addition to Pisces energy, for those who are born between March 1st to March 10th, that particular period of time, they are the most intuitive because they are really connected to their higher consciousness and tapping into the wisdom that they are here to tap into. Now, remembering my Pisces on my chart is associated with ninth house, where the connection that I do have with learning, traveling between both worlds, and the connection that I channel energy from God and I deliver that message out to you. Now, with my three planets that sit in my ninth house, where I do have my sun, which is my birth sign, and the North Node. Now, the Sun and North Node are very similar in energy because they're both here. They're both elements that's taking me to where I have to go based on my soul's work that I'm here to accomplish. I also have Venus there. Now, Venus is associated with all relationships, including money and our physical body. And with Venus in Pisces, it's an exalted energy, so it's extremely powerful. Just gonna take a little sip of water. And then we're gonna move into the 10th house. Now, the 10th house, in this particular case, based on my story that I'm sharing with you, is extremely important as well. In my 10th house, where 10th house is associated with career, fame, success, money, and your accomplishments. The 10th house is that connection with Capricorn. So remember earlier when I said I didn't have any planets sitting in my 6th house in Capricorn? Well, that connection between my 6th house in Capricorn and my 10th house in Aries plays a big role here because I do have in my 10th house, I have Mars and Chiron. Let me talk a little bit about both. So before I dive into that, let's talk about Aries, which is your I am statement. It's how I express myself. It's also how I want to be seen, how I want to show up in the world. It's how I want people to see me as opposed to how they see me. So that's an extremely important placement for the 10th house because of that Aries energy. It really sets the tone to how I want to be seen. What is my I am statement? So in addition to the 6th house with Capricorn, connecting with the 10th house in Aries, I want to bring you back to my 1st house in Cancer because they're all connected. Because again, 1st house is a representation of Aries energy. And Cancer is about home. It's about the nurturer. It's about the mama bear. It's the one who's sensitive and looks in on everybody. Now, when we talk about this energy between Cancer and Capricorn, they're oppositions of each other. So again, Cancer wants to be home and nurturing. Capricorn is out there doing the work. So because I have Cancer in my 1st house placement, it's connecting to my Aries 10th house placement because it is about my I am statement. It's also about my leadership role. It's about being the boss and plays a big role in how I do work now. Where over the last 22 years, going back to when I had my storefront, prior to September 22 of 2022, I operated my business from a storefront where I saw clients like yourself in person for 22 years. And on September 22 of 2022, I made the decision to close the storefront and to then operate my business virtually speaking, which now means I'm working from home, which is associated with that 1st house Cancer placement. I'm home and cozy, but yet my 10th house Aries placement is I am the boss, I'm in charge, and how I want people to see me now that I'm working from a virtual standpoint versus a storefront perspective. So when we have in my chart, in that 10th house placement, I have Mars there. Now, Mars is the ruler of Aries, and that's a big deal that it sits in my 10th house because what Mars is helping me to do is to be in charge, is to be assertive, is perhaps even be aggressive at times, to be the boss. It's also about the war because Mars is known as the warrior. And yes, there are times that I am at war with myself based on Chiron being in my 10th house Aries placement because Chiron is about the wounded healer. Now, a little bit more about Chiron. When we speak about Chiron energy, Chiron is the wounded healer. And as it sits in my Aries placement in my 10th house, my wound that I have been working very hard on over many years now is about seeing myself as validating who I am and the worth that I bring to the table. Now, let me go back and share a little story with you, which I don't know if I shared in my article, so it may be a little bonus here. For many, many, many years in my business, especially when I started out my business back in 2001, I have a plaque. I was literally awarded a plaque as a personal trainer who felt that everybody deserved to work with a personal trainer. So because I had that mindset that everybody deserved to work with a personal trainer, my mindset was that I had to make personal training affordable for all, which is great and wonderful and kind. However, having that mindset meant that I had to keep my prices low so everybody can afford what it was that I was doing. There's where my Chiron wound played a huge role, is not recognizing my worth, my value, to see that what I was, the service that I offered was valued at such a higher price, but yet I was giving it away. And that was actually a disadvantage over time. Having my own storefront for as long as I did, and for that matter, even expanding my storefront twice within a 22-year period, and unfortunately downsizing twice as well, due to not honoring my worth and my value, which taught me a huge lesson, which I apply in my life as we speak today, which is all about recognizing my worth, my value, and knowing that what I bring to the table in my service that I bring, that the right clients will see my service worthy and valuable, that they will not even blink an eye in regards to the price that they will be paying to get the service that they get from me. So I learned a lot through my Chiron moon in Aries, and recognizing that it's so important for me to honor my I am statement. Who am I? Why am I here? And what is the legacy I wish to leave behind? And learning more and more about my Chiron moon in Aries is helping me to stand in my light and recognize that the work that I do is so valuable, and that I have agreements with clients like yourself who are literally ready to knock down my door to work with me. Now we're going to move on from the Aries 10th house placement from Mars to Chiron. And we're going to move into, we're going to stay with the 10th house. However, we're going to move into Taurus energy, because I have a little bit of energy that still sits in my 10th house, yet it's in Taurus. Now, Taurus is about all the relationships. It's about self-worth, self-value. It's about the relationship I have with myself, my physical body, and the relationships I have with you, all the agreements, and of course money, and all the things that I value, such as my physical and material possessions. I happen to have Saturn in that placement. Saturn is the planet of structure, foundation, and karmic reset. Now, with knowing that now, it's all about restructuring, zooming right in again on my career, what it is that I do, and what I'm so passionate about is helping women like you transform your physical body, your mindset, your emotions, so you can be more aligned to who you are spiritually from a soul's perspective. So it makes so much sense to why I would have Saturn sitting in my 10th house in Taurus, helping me to restructure who I am so I can restructure who you are. So we now move into the 11th house placement, where I do have Taurus and a big chunk of it, no placements, and I also have Gemini there. So with Gemini being in my 11th house alongside Taurus, the 11th house is community. It's all about you. It's all about my connections, my collaborations, and finding the people that are my tribe, finding my cheerleaders, finding the people who is going to support me, encourage me, and lift me up, help me to climb the ladder. And between it being in Taurus and Gemini, Gemini is the experience. Gemini is how I network. Gemini is how I connect and teach. And because I have a community of clients like yourself who's ready to learn, the expression is when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. And there's many courses that I do teach. Just to name a few, I have my Astrological and Numerology course. That's a 52-week course, which means we meet once a week, every week for 52 weeks. That course is an amazing course. It's actually coming up in May. If that's something you would like to be a part of, I would love for you to be a part of it. In addition to that course, I also teach a Reiki Attunement Level 1, 2, and Mastership. again, to help you really discover who you are from a soul level. And one other course I like to bring to your attention, and then we're going to move on, is my card course. The actual background that's sitting behind me is my card deck that I created. I help clients like yourself learn how to use my deck so you can actually play with the deck on a daily basis and have a word to work with, a chakra to work on, and a number that's going to guide you based on your personal energy, your number, and everything that's aligned with you based on your astrological chart. So there you have it with the 11th house placement. Moving into the final house, which is the 12th house, where I do have a little bit of Gemini and a little bit of Cancer. So again, we're in the experience, we're in how I teach. It's giving away my secrets, so to speak, because that's what 12th house is. It's the secrets that I hold within. It's the tools that I have to help you become the best version of who you are. And remembering that Cancer is all about the nurturer that I am, and how I want to nurture you, and how I want to help you get to where you are going. So now, I want to bring this in, pull it in for you in this moment. I want to share with you a secret. And that secret is that I have a superpower. And that superpower is all about being able to use my third eye, where I can see you at your most highest potential. So when working with you as my client, I don't just see you as a client. I see you as a student taking on my courses, and then eventually becoming a practitioner from all that you've learned through my courses, and then moving towards becoming a master. That is my superpower. And that superpower does come from my first house Cancer placement, my 10th house Aries placement, my 9th house Stellium Pisces placement, and the fact that I have Virgo Pluto in my 3rd house placement. And let's not forget the double Aquarian energy from the 7th and 8th house, which allows me to be the visionary, to visualize you at your most highest potential. So there you have it, my astrological chart that has helped me weave through all the different challenges and obstacles and chaos, for that matter. Now, understanding that when you do learn about your astrological and numerology chart, it's not going to stop you from experiencing the chaos and challenges and the ups and downs. What it's going to do is help you to navigate, help you to take a pause back when things get a little challenging, help you to understand where you are in your chart and how your personal natal chart is in alignment to all the actual collective energy that's going on right now. I do want to leave with you one other thing regarding your astrological chart. When we speak about our sun, moon, and ascending sign or rising sign, which is associated, your rising ascending sign is associated to your first house. Your ascending rising sign is how people see you. So whatever zodiac sign sits in that first house placement, that's exactly how people see you. For me, again, people see me as the nurturer, as the person who cares, as that mama bear. I'm going to check in on you. I'm going to make sure you're okay, especially if I haven't heard from you in a while. In addition to the sun's placement, the ascending placement, the sun energy is what I'm here to become. So whatever zodiac sign you have as your sun placement, which is your birth sign, that is who you are here to become. It's your soul's work. You're working towards becoming it. Your moon sign. Your moon sign is your feelings and how you express those feelings. And with your moon energy, knowing and understanding that the moon rotates every 2.5 days. So every 2.5 days, the moon is moving from a fire sign to an earth sign to an air sign to a water sign, which could create a lot of energy within a very short period of time, because within a 7-day period, we will experience 3 different elements over a 7-day period, where we start out in one element and by the end of the week we move to another element. So paying attention to that and understanding how that plays a role in how you feel about the work that you came here to do. I'm hoping that this gave you some insight and a better understanding to who you are, and perhaps you might be even curious to looking at your astrological chart and learning about you. I truly believe that as we are in what's known as the age of the Aquarius, it's all about being the visionary. It's about finding your tribe and making connections and collaborating. Getting to know who you are from a soul level is very extraordinary and special at the same time. It's this powerful energy that we are in right now. So I urge you to really get to know who you are, study you. Now, bringing in just a little bit about numerology, because after all, I am talking about astrological and numerology makeup. Your numerology is based on your month and date and year that you were born. Now, what's known as your personal energy year number is based on the current year. So, for example, my birthday is March 4th, and because we're in 2025, we're going to take those numbers and put them together. So we're going to add 3 plus 4 plus 2025. And you'll find that that's going to add out to a 16, which then that 1 and 6 gets added to a 7. So I am in my personal 7-year energy. What does that mean? That means that I am here to quiet myself down, go into a state of practice of meditation, becoming more curious to reflect on who I am. In addition, it's about all of the things that I believed in once upon a time, my philosophies, everything that I've been conditioned and programmed to believe that I no longer believe. So I'm rewriting my belief system. After all, I have a non-conventional approach based on the work that I do. I revolutionize health, fitness, nutrition, and wellness to help you better understand who you are, to help you release the weight, the emotional weight that you carry, so you can release the issues that sit in your tissues and begin to fall in love with the version of you that you see right now. So we think about that number 7, my personal energy year number for this year. When we think about 2025, it's a 9 universal energy. And what that means is this is a year for transformation. This is a year to declutter the old version of yourself. This is your year to really get into that space where you can end something, complete something, and that could be something small or big. This is your year to really step up and level up and be the best version of you, which is one of the reasons why making connections and finding your tribe is so important for 2025 and going forward. This is a revolutionized year. It really is about transforming from within. So on the external level, you can present yourself as you are from a soul level. So there you have it. If you have any questions, comments, or you're interested in getting an astrological reading, a numerology reading, or you wish to join me in my 52-week astrological and numerology course, I would love to have you. All you need to do is email healingwithin76@gmail.com. Now, in my article, you'll see that information there. So just click on it, send me that information, send me your information. Let me know what it is that I can serve you and how I can help you and support you on this journey. Feel free to go check out my website, which is also in the article, Holistic Fitness and Why. And if you're curious to know about more of the work that I do, you can always go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is also Holistic Fitness and Why. I do hope that you found this information to be insightful and that there's something that led you to sit at the edge of your chair with curiosity and wondering and ready to discover who you are from a soul level. I thank you so much for your time. Until we meet again, have an amazing, amazing, a magical, blessed day wherever you are in the world.